Namanda, 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 Namanda. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Dharma family service on this. Thanks for coming out on this kind of wet day. Uh, we have some guests who are going to introduce later, but one of the things that's going to happen over the next couple of days is several of the major pieces of the Naijin here, this altar area, are going to be disassembled and sent back to Japan for repair and refurbishing. And so we thought it's kind of a special service in a way because we're thinking that the Amida image, it's not going to Japan, but our Amida image is going to be put into storage. And so I'll give you more detail about that later. I don't want to do any spoilers or anything, but felt on this kind of special occasion to do Amida Kyo. This is the smaller sutra on Amida Buddha. And so we're going to chant that now. It's on page 103 in the big purple book. And page 93 in the Japanese book. So if people want to chant in Japanese, please use the Japanese book. And for people at home, we're not going to show the words on the screen. We're going to show an image of our Naijin, and we sent a PDF out to you. So hopefully you can use that. And I guess I should warn you, if you don't know already, it's a little long, but it's also kind of a special opportunity because it's one of the few times we can chant the entire sutra. And we're not going to go too fast because I know when we have done it in the past with Shotsuki, we chant really fast. We're not going to go too fast so that you can chant along, but you can also look at the Naijin. If you have a book, you can read the English if you want instead of chanting. It's up to you, but it's kind of special opportunity to get to chant the Amida Sutra. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Setsu Amida Kyo Nyoze Gamon Ichi Jibutsu Zai Shae Koku Kichu Kiko Toku On Yodai Ikushu Sen Ni Yakugo Junin Ku Kai Zedai Yara Kanshu Shochi Shiki Choro Shari Hotsu Makamo Kennen Makakasho Makakasennen Makakuchira Ihata Shuri Handa Gananda Ananda Nagora Kyobon Hadai Binzuru Harada Karudai Makako Hinna Haruna Anuda Nyoseto Shodai Deshi Kyosho Bosatsu Makasatsu Monju Shiri Hoji Aita Bosa Ken Nakadai Bosatsu Josho Jimbosa Yonyo Zeto Shodai Bosatsu Gyushaku
大官人と無料書店大衆二重仏語長老者利発重税裁法多十万の仏道不正戒名圧極楽合道不仏語阿弥陀本現在説法者利発非道が公明異極楽合国衆上無宿単純省楽公明極楽者極楽国土七十何十七十何も七十五十改正司法主要二行成功異国名圧極楽者利発極楽国土無執法自白毒水十万語中地大順に本社富士市変街道今後ぬりはりご上上の各役位今後ぬりはり社交釈州名の二言直死中中年下大名者林正式証拠大式要項釈式者白式白個二名高血者利発極楽国土上順尿税空毒将軍者利発非仏国土上差天学黄金二次昼夜六時二万だらけ五国衆上上位昇丹各位英国上州名家供養他法十万の仏即位時期次元と本国本時期教業者利発極楽国土上順尿税空毒将軍武士者利法異国上主従金明座式市長逆行空弱オムシャリ下領便なぐ名市長税商首長中夜六時水和下音五音年長五今後里七五大軍八正道分尿税東方合同衆上本税音に開失念仏念法念相者利発尿物意識長実税財王少少少医者が非仏国土無三幕主者利発合部国土小無三幕道司名家教不実税小集中大税阿弥陀仏欲量温泉流変化少佐者利発非部国土未不水道小法五十九法ラボ睡眠妙音頻尿百千十学道時草門税音社会時年上念仏念法念相死心者利発合仏国土上中尿税空 理発非物無量無変諸門で司会あらかん非税三十四書の地消防殺種薬分尿税シャリオス非物国土上中尿税空毒将軍入シャリオス極な国土修上少者改正やビバチゴ中タウ一緒不詳同主人大税三十章の知識単価無料無変阿蘇義公説シャリオス修上門者応答図願願所異国所医者が特四尿税症状前空営一生シャリオツ深い一生前後福徳因縁特所異国シャリオツ脈全難し全如人門説阿弥陀仏主人名語約一日約二日約三日約四日約五日約六日約七日一心不乱五人人名十字阿弥陀仏要所小寿現在午前芸人主事神父天道即徳往生阿弥陀仏極楽国土シャリオツが健全に構成死言脈修上門税聖者応答発願所非国土シャリオツ尿が根者三段阿弥陀仏不可思議空毒突破薬阿宿微物趣味創物大趣味部趣味鉱物妙音物尿税と合が社種小物各王合国水工場絶素変風三千大先世界切上実言尿と修上と新税小三不可思議空毒一切小物小五年よシャリオツ南方世界不日が動物名門鉱物大円見物趣味動物無料小人物尿税と動画社種小物各王合国水工場絶素変風三大先世界絶上実言尿と修上と新税小三不可思議空毒一切小物小五年よシャリオス大法世界無料重物無料創物無料動物大好物大名物放送物上好物尿税と合が社種小物各王合国水工場絶素変風三千大先世界切上実言尿と等身税小三不可思議空毒一切小物小五年よシャリオツ北方世界不縁見物最小音物難小物立小物毛明物尿税と合が社種小物各王合国水工場絶素変風三千大先世界切 説上実言用と衆上と親税小三不可思議空毒一切小物小五年行シャリオツゲ法世界有志死物名門物名公物脱魔物報道物地方物名税と動画写真小物各王合国水工場絶相天風三千大千世界切上実領と衆上と親税小三不可思議空毒一切小物小五年行シャリオツ情報世界有言論物釈放物工場物高校物大円見物雑式法慶言人物シャラ重応物法慶特物権日祭儀物尿趣味戦物尿税と動画写真小物各王合国水工場絶相偏風三千大千世界切上実言用と衆上と親税小三不可思議空毒一切小五年病シャリオツ王尿意運河が公尿意一切小物小五年病シャ脈善難死善尿人門税小物小説名牛教名社税小善難死善尿人会意一切小物群小五年海徳不大天大和のたら三脈三宝大税公シャリオツ尿と海と真珠が合義小部小説シャリオツ脈人異発願根発願頭発願翼小阿弥陀仏国者税商人と海徳不大天大阿のくたら三脈三宝大法非国土脈一小脈根性脈と小成功シャリ法小善難死善尿人脈信者応答発願小非国土シャリ発尿が根者小三小物不可思議空毒非小部と役小説が不可思議空毒にさが言釈迦牟尼仏の偉人な下右四時のおしゃば国土公辱悪性公辱権辱煩悩中上辱病辱中徳阿六たら三脈三宝大一生衆上節税一切世間南進司法シャリオツ土地が王合辱悪性行師南寺徳阿六たら三脈三宝大一切世間世師南進司法税人な仏世司教医シャリホスギ小ビク一切世間天人アシュラと文仏小説歓喜真珠さらい利己仏説阿弥陀経
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. How was it? Chanting Amida Kyo. Pretty good, pretty hard. Oh, good, yay, right? So, it brings back memories for me when I was a student. This is back, late 90s. Reverend Yamaoka was here, the late Reverend Dr. Seigen Yamaoka, and I started doing my internship here, and we would chant Amida Kyo once a month. And so I remember sitting in my room in Berkeley at Institute of Buddhist Studies at the dorm the night before the Sunday and reading through it, maybe chanting it kind of on my own to kind of get ready, get it under my tongue, because it's not easy to chant, huh? But it is really, really special and important text. It is one of the 3 Pure Land Sutras that we use for our school, like the main basis of our teachings. So this smaller Amida Kyo is one of those. So, I almost forgot. I gotta show my PowerPoint. I'm gonna share my screen. Welcome to our Dharma Family Service. Okay. So here's the Naijin on the thing. You don't have to look at that if you're here, right? Because you can see it right in front of you. And so this where I'm standing is called the Naijin. Remember the inner area? And then you're sitting in the Gejin, the outer area. So we can see these kind of 2 sections of the Hondo, right, of our main hall. And like I mentioned, several of the main sections up here are going to be disassembled and sent back to Japan. That's going to happen later today. And we're going to put them in a shipping container tomorrow morning. And so it's real, it's happening, right? And so this incredible Naijin that we have, I mean, Buddhist Church of Oakland, this is pretty special, I think. If you go to different BCA temples, other temples, sometimes they look more like this, sometimes they look very different. Right? Ours, I think, really is patterned on our mother temple, Nishihonganji in Kyoto. Right? And so we have Amida Buddha in the middle, and you kind of can't see it in the picture, but behind me on your right side is Shinran Shonin, the founder of our school. Some of that's going back too. Not the scroll, but the little building that the scroll is housed in. And then on the left is Renyo Shonin, the 8th descendant of Shinran, and the one who really turned Jodo Shinshu into one of the main schools of Buddhism. We just chanted Amida Kyo. This is a book on the screen, the Busetsu Jodo Sanbu Kyo. So this is a Japanese book of the 3 sutras for chanting. And if I were to open it up, it looks kind of like that, in that fan fold. I wasn't using this kind of book. It's hard to turn the pages, right? But the traditional mode, right, is that it's kind of fan fold, and you chant looking at that. And all I can say is I'm glad I got new glasses, because there was a couple of times, what is that character? It's really, really small. But then in English, it would be called the Sutra on Amida Buddha, Amida Kyo. Sometimes Busetsu Amida Kyo. Buddha expounds the sutra on Amida Buddha. So Amida Buddha is our main Buddha, right? Not Shakyamuni, not the historical Buddha, but Amida Buddha. And so our statue is one representation of Amida Buddha that I wanted to show you, and you can kind of maybe see it on the screen or up here. One really important point, our Amida Buddha is standing. Right? It's a standing Buddha image. Now, there are different kinds of Buddha images, different images of Amida. So here's another one you can see on the screen. Actually, I can hold it up for you too, although you probably can't see it. This is a postcard with a Tibetan version image of Amida. This is Amitayus Buddha, Buddha in his immeasurable life aspect. Right? And so you can see he's seated on a lotus. He's got the ring behind him and the kind of halo behind his head. He's wearing a crown in this case. Ours doesn't have a crown. Right? So this is a different image of Amida Buddha, but it's the same Buddha. I'll just let you know, I just found this card again recently. This card I bought this in Japan in 1990. So this is how long ago is that? 35 years ago or something? Right? So this postcard is really old, and it's faded a little bit. I can see I had the adhesive on the back. There's these 2 little spots. So this was on my door at my parents' house. Back in the 90s. right? And it's a Tibetan image, but the artist is Kenji Babasaki. He's a Japanese artist who went to Nepal and learned how to do this traditional Tibetan tanka imagery. 1990, I was coming back from a semester abroad at Kansai Gaidai between Kyoto and Osaka, and went into a little art shop in Tokyo, in Shimokitazawa probably, and found these amazing cards. I was into Buddhism. That's partly why I went to Japan. But then these Buddha images were just really cool. There's really, really cool. I got a set of like 6 or 7. And that was my connection to Buddhism for several years before I moved out to go to Institute of Buddhist Studies. So this is really, really special to me, this image, even though it's not our Jodo Shinshu Amida Buddha. And if you looked really closely, you might also notice, does our Buddha image look kind of Japanese? Does this Buddha look kind of Tibetan? Right? So it kind of depends who's making the image too, I think. Right? And maybe Chinese ones look kind of different, Indian, Thai images, right? The faces look kind of different, right? And so that's kind of one interesting aspect of these Buddha images. Here's a close-up of our image. So kind of different, right? You can see, let's see, what else we got? Oh, his hand symbols, it's like this, right? It's like the OK sign, and the left hand is kind of facing down. A lot of images is just the open palm, or it could be like this even. But or it folded in the lap. But ours has this symbol, right? The right and left hands. And the version I heard, one of my favorite explanations is Reverend Kodo Umezu said, it's like Amida Buddha wants to give us a hug. Right? So it's like, hey, come here, you know. And he's doing, I don't know if that's really what it is, but it's kind of traditional to have these mudras, they could be called, right? These hand symbols. And that's one way you can recognize what Buddha is that statue, what Buddha is in that painting. Look at the hands. And that's one way you can recognize. There's also this one and all kinds of stuff. What else? Oh, you can see, let's see. So here, behind him, he's standing, right? So behind the image is kind of like, it looks almost like a shield or something, right? But that's almost like a halo. And this one is flames. It's these flames, it's fire. Because that's one of the images of Buddha's light. It's like fire, right? And then also behind his head is the round circle. It's a circle of light, and you can see these kind of spikes coming out, but those are like beams of light, right? But because that's one aspect. Amitayus is Buddha of immeasurable life. Amitabha is Buddha of inconceivable light. Okay? And then one other thing you might notice is, it's really hard to see. I had to like put my face up against my screen, so you probably can't see it, but there's a mustache. Right? And so there are a lot of Chinese and Japanese Buddha images have mustache. And statue is not the only way. You can also have a scroll, a painted image, right? And so this is the image from our no kotsudo, right? The columbarium that we have there on the left side, right? And so there is an Amida image there, and you can see those kind of beams coming out, right? Those are also the beams of light. There's probably 48, representing the 48 vows. So that's not the only way to understand Buddha, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because we have a meeting later, but this is from Shinran's writings. There are 2 kinds of Dharma body with regard to the Buddha. So a Buddha has various bodies, right? Buddha manifests in various ways. The first is called Dharma nature Dharma body, or Hosho Hoshin. The second, skillful means Dharma body, or Hoben Hoshin. Dharma body as suchness, or the Dharma nature Dharma body, has neither color nor form. Thus, the mind cannot grasp it, nor words describe it. So one aspect of Amida Buddha, inconceivable, no form, no like human body, no gender, no distinctions, right? It's true reality itself, emptiness, light, right? So that's one aspect of the Buddha, is this Dharma body of Dharma nature. But from this oneness was manifested form called skillful means Dharma body. If it was just inconceivable, I could never think of that. How am I supposed to meet Buddha if it's inconceivable and you can't see it and you can't touch it and you can't hear it, right? And so Buddha, knowing that, manifests in ways that we can meet, that we can encounter. And so taking this form, the Buddha announced the name Bhikshu Dharmakara and established the 48 great vows that surpass conceptual understanding. Among these vows are the primal vow of measurable light, wisdom, and the universal vow of immeasurable life, compassion. And to the form manifesting these two vows, Bodhisattva Vasubandhu gave the title Tathagata of unhindered light, filling the 10 quarters. So Buddha's everywhere. Buddha pervades all reality in that Dharma body form, that Dharma nature form. Right? And yet we can encounter it with an image like statue or the painting. So I just want to take a little side here. So Amida Buddha, to me, wisdom and compassion. Wisdom is the light aspect, compassion is the life aspect. Buddha has both. Seeing things as they truly are, the true nature of reality itself, and yet also caring for deluded beings such as myself. That compassion, right? This compassion, I think, used to be translated a lot as mercy. Right? And mercy is a word that's come up in our news over the past couple weeks. Right? And so my understanding, Jesus Christ taught mercy for beings who are suffering, right? Beings who are being oppressed. Buddha teaches mercy and compassion for all beings. Right? And so this compassion aspect is such an important part of our Buddha image. And another one is empathy. Right? I hear that there's a lot of people who are trash talking the Episcopal Bishop Marian Edgar Buddy, right, who gave the talk at the inauguration, right, and they're saying it has nothing to do with mercy, nothing to do with empathy. What are you talking about? Hello, that's what it's about, right? Caring for others, kindness for everyone, right? That's the ultimate goal of Buddhism, is to awaken to this wisdom, to see things as they truly are, and to be able to manifest this compassion, caring for all living beings. Not beings of a certain race, not beings of a certain gender, not beings of a certain nationality, not even beings of a certain species. All beings. Right? And so this compassion, and then empathy is a way, I think empathy is kind of like supercharged sympathy. Right? You can see someone suffering and be like, wow, I sympathize. Right? I don't actually feel what you're feeling, but I can recognize you're feeling sad. I have felt sad. I get it. Empathy, you see someone sad and you feel it. You feel that sadness, right? I don't know how empathetic I am, but the empathy of the Buddha is for all beings and is absolutely a part of Buddhism and is part of what our Buddhism is about, I believe, is to aspire for that wisdom and that compassion or empathy or mercy. One other way we can have it, if you've been to one of my off-site memorial services, this is like a little Buddha image, right? And this is what's up on the screen. And this is another way we can see Buddha. And if we could look closer, that's Chinese, written vertically, Namo Amida Butsu. That's what you've been saying a lot today, right? Namo Amida Butsu. That name is Amida Buddha. Right? That's actually Shinran preferred not to have the statue because it makes me think, oh yeah, I know what Buddha is. Buddha's inconceivable, and yet we meet it through Namo Amida Butsu. So, I guess you could say, what are the pros and cons? The problem with the statue or the painting image, the anthropomorphic image, is that, again, it's conceivable. I can look at it and think, I understand that. Whereas for Shinran, true Buddha is inconceivable. It's also gendered, right? And so it's got the mustache, it's generally male form, but I think Shinran also understood. He often refers to Amida as mother, right? So that the Buddhas are our father and our mother, right? And ultimately beyond gender, right? So it's even not just those two, and it's beyond all kinds of gender, right? And so that's what would to me, one of the cons of the anthropomorphic image. And yet, I can look at it and understand, because if someone sees the Chinese characters, they don't know what that says, right? So if we don't understand Chinese, it's hard to see that. All right, spoiler alert, we're not going to put the image away. We're actually going to have it set up and then keep our statue here. Okay, so we were thinking it was going to go away into storage, but I think we'd put up a scroll, but I think we're actually going to keep our Amida Buddha image here. So my original idea for this service was kind of say goodbye for a year and a half, or however long it takes, right? And say goodbye to our image. But we don't have to, yay. And then you're like, well, then why did we chant Amida Kyo? Right? And yet, I really felt it's nice to chant it sometimes. We haven't chanted it in a long time. We're going to chant it again at the Eitai BA Eitai Kyo service towards the end of February, right? And so we'll be chanting Amida Kyo again. So that's another reason I thought it's nice for us to hear it, so that if you chant it then too, you'd be like, I've done this before. I can chant this, right? Because I thought people chanted really nicely. Sometimes I had to take a breath or swallow, right? And I could hear people chanting, and you didn't stop. Like, what's going on? Why did Sensei stop? You kept going, right? You trust me, I trust you. And so we can chant together, which is what's so important about chanting, right? Is that we're all able to recite Buddhist teachings together. So thank you very much. I'm going to conclude the Dharma message. And why don't we conclude by reciting the Nembutsu, the name of Amida Buddha, the manifestation of wisdom and compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Okay. Should we announce our guests? Can we introduce our guests? Do you want to come up and... Robert, can you give Michael the mic?
Morning, everyone. As Sensei noted, our church 125th anniversary is coming up next year, 2026. And so one of the projects we decided to do was to complete the renovation of the altar of the church here. For the centennial 25 years ago, we renovated Benyo Shonin. The entire shrine is brand new because it was in such bad shape. So Benyo Shonin on the left side was all completely redone. We redid the front table here, the Maejoku. We refurbished it, they sent it back to Japan. And then the tables in front of each of the altars were all brand new as part of the centennial project. But at that time, the craftsmen didn't think that, this is 25 years ago, the housing for Amida and the housing for Shinran Shonin were still, relatively okay. But now that we've come almost 25 years, we had it looked at, and there are some cracks and things in structures, so we thought it would be a good time for the 125th anniversary to complete the renovation of our altar so that we're able to see this, the wonders of the Pure Land for hopefully another 100, 200 years here in Oakland. And so to do this work, this is very detailed, very specific work that's done to renovate these type of items. And so we've looked to the Wakabayashi Butsugu company in Kyoto, Japan, which is, I just looked online, almost 200 years old, the company, founded in 1830 in Kyoto. And so we have the two craftsmen here today, Mr. Hasegawa and Mr. Hirano. Michael. They will be helping us to organize this today, and they'll be guiding 5 or 6 of us to tell us how we're going to bring those items down off the altar. So with their skills, we appreciate their coming. So the items will be gone for about a year, they anticipate. So hopefully we'll have the items back sometime early next year. Just to let you know, Wakabayashi Company is almost 200 years old. They've done decades and decades of work on our mother temple, Honganji. They're also doing work on Seattle Betsui, which had a fire, as you know. So they're renovated the entire altar, everything in the back. They did work for West LA, up in Monterey. Alameda Buddhist Temple, they've done their altar. So they've done much work for BCA, Jodo Shinshu Center, BCA headquarters, San Francisco. So they go back long history with BCA temples and other.
Oh, give it back to Robert. Huh. So I'd like to now turn it over to Robert Noguchi for some announcements.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Sensei, and welcome to our guests from Wakabayashi. Thank you very much for coming. Um, for those of you who don't know, I've been in charge of the nomination committee for 2025, and this is a process that started back in September to get a board of directors and a cabinet ready for this 2025 year that we start today. So anyway, at first, I want to go over the mission statement very quickly. The BCO mission statement, the Buddhist Church of Oakland to be an inclusive and welcoming community where the Buddhist teachings are shared and practiced. And that's what we'd like to have. Everything that we do here center around BCO's mission statement. First, I'd like to acknowledge and thank those who are retiring off the board this year. And if you're here, just stand and be recognized. Bill Doherty, Michael Endo, Jeffrey Hisaoka, Patty Hisaoka, John Takagaki, and Craig Tanazawa. So thank you very much for serving on the board. The nomination committee this year was constructed by the 5 past presidents, including myself as the chair, and that was John Takagaki, Ron Nomura, Norman Yoshida, Keiji Terada, and Reverend Harry Bridge as an advisor. So we thank them very much for serving on this nomination committee. And now the 2025 election results that from the votes that came in through at the end of November at Thanksgiving. I want to first welcome our 2 new board members, Daniel Bichonette and Brian Wong. If you please come forward and offer incense and remain up here and we'll take a picture. Yeah, just stand right there is fine. We're going to bring the rest of the group up in just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce the 2025, the rest of the 2025 board. And if you, when I call your name, please come forward and offer incense, and we'll do an installation with Reverend Bridge. Rennie Grohl, June Hamamoto, Lyman Hollins, Hondo Labli, Carlo Manois, Jun Masuyama, Linda Nakamura, Kiyomi Nomura, Kerry Oto, Mark Shimamoto, Stephen Terasaki, Gary Tominaga, Joyce Yokomizo, and 2 slots in red at the bottom, one for the Dharma School, representative, basically placeholder, and the Oakland Buddhist Women's Association.
Okay, and then please turn around and face me. And then we'll do the installation. So Gasho, please, and repeat after me. I take office on the board, the Buddhist Church of Oakland, aware that it will require a commitment of time and effort. I will do my best to lead through both action and direction, using Buddha Dharma as my guide. I affirm this pledge by taking refuge in the 3 treasures: I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Okay, thank you. Stay here, turn around, face them. Let's all clap. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, now I may have messed this up because I didn't get a chance to tell who the officers are. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's not perfect, but that's good enough. The nomination committee for this coming year, who will be determining for the group for 2026, is somewhat changed. It's going to be me chairing, along with Ron, Keiju, Norman, Reverend Rich, and then the adding of Linda Minamoto because John had to resign. So that's the 2025. And now the 2025 officers, I guess first I want to thank and give my deepest appreciation to Keiju Torada, who has not only served the last 2 years as the president of BCO, but has stepped up and offered to be the president for 2025. So we thank you very much, Keiju, for doing that. And also, I want to extend my gratitude to Stephen Terasaki, who currently is the Buddhist Churches of America president and will be the president-elect this year and take the role of president next year in 2026. So we have 2 more years that are covered from Keiju and Steve. And unfortunately, Steve is not here today. He's at the Buddhist Church of Berkeley Buddhist Temple at a special BCA service, along with a couple of other of our members. So he sends his regrets that he's unable to be here, but he'll be here, I think, for the meeting and for the New Year's party. So anyway, I'd like to call up the officers very quickly, and we'll take a picture. So our president for 2025, Keiju Charada. President-elect Stephen Terasaki. Our vice president of business is Mark Shimamoto. Our vice president religious is Hondo Labli. Our recording secretary is to be determined. Our corresponding secretary is Carrie Oto. Our treasurer is Rennie Grohl, and our assistant treasurer is to be determined. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all I have until the annual general meeting. So thank you. I'll turn it back over to Sensei.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Well, this will conclude our Dharma family service. Thank you very much for coming. I think this might be the actual first time that I remember finishing at 11. And so we're going to have our meeting next, but we're going to conclude our service and stop the Zoom stream. So let's conclude our service, please, with Gassho. Namo Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Okay, thank you. And then, so we're going to take a 10-15 minute break to get the room set up for the meeting. So you can either hang out here or go downstairs and enjoy some refreshments. Stay on the Zoom meeting.